Thank you for staying with us in this edition of Talking Point. Our guest today, Lapana Tasha Mama, a civil society activist and writer, is joining us from Larnaca in the southern part of Cyprus. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Babila.
Reaction on the deplorable state of the Bamenda Road. Before you left the country, that road was already in a bad state, and today the situation of the road has worsened and has become more or less a nightmare to commuters.
Well, that is what I saw on social media and on TV. So it is a disgrace to the government of the Republic of Cameroon that the people who have been suffering for 5 years today are still suffering in a domain where they have the capacity and the resources to give them the life that they deserve. A country like Cameroon in the 21st century do not have to suffer such. And then I condemn the negligence on the part of the government concerning the people of Bamenda, because when you look at it, it is a disgrace to us Cameroonians that at this point in time we are still suffering, and a road is a main problem in Cameroon. And in our saying, in popular opinion, they usually say that where road passes, development follow. Because when you look at that route, you will have all the evidence to say that there is no development in Bamenda.
The security situation is what government is presenting as the reason for the deplorable state of that road.
That has been throughout this period, and I believe that the government have the power and then the means in order to solve the problem or to do some certain things, because I see that there are things happening in other parts in the Anglophone regions that the separatists are not against it. I believe something has happened along that road where machines were burned, and then maybe the government is holding on to that. But I believe it is time for them to try again and to help these people. If they can work by day in order to feed the route, I don't believe that people will come, because they have seen the suffering of the people. And I'm also pleading on my people, my brother, the Anglophones, to alert that it is our development and it is our right that we deserve that route to be maintained, to represent us, that they have to allow these people, the contractor or whosoever want to do it. It is our due that the government have to give it unto us, and that is the way we have to take it. Whatsoever they are giving to us, it is not like a dash, or it is not like a bribe from the Republic of Cameroon, but it is our duty. It is the taxpayer money that they will use on the route. And then when we are fighting, like I always talk about this Anglophone crisis, we do not destroy property, because those property belongs to us. If during the First World War, the Germans or the British destroy all, like what we are seeing today in Buya, like the Mountain Hotel, and then they will not be there if they were burning property. That we should allow property, because they all belongs to us. If the government is afraid of that, I believe the government have to do what is needful for them in order to end the Anglophone crisis, for the people of the Anglophones, especially Bamenda, to enjoy their rights.
They have to enjoy their rights, but most of them are being deprived of their rights, are being deprived of their homes, are being deprived of their properties, are being deprived of the right to live today. And the situation has continued worsening, despite all the efforts coming from all quarters to restore peace and normalcy in those regions. And now the decentralization code, the new decentralization code, and the putting in place of the regional institutions that was announced as a solution to the crisis, as part of the solution to the situation in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, seem not to be yielding the fruits. For more than 4 months now, the regional officials have been in office, but they have not been working, and complaints have been coming from those two regions and other parts of the country. And now there is a conflict that has erupted, some sort of a conflict between the regional president of the Southwest region, or the president of the Southwest Regional House of Assembly, and the president of the House of Chiefs over public statements on the issue. And this is now being qualified as government's divide and rule strategy, which is set to be setting the Regional Assembly on fire. What do you think about all this?
From the origin in 2018, I was on this platform, and then I talk about Cameroon government solving problems that it needs a lot of reasoning politically. And when they look at any problem and believe that they can solve it politically, that is where the problem keep on growing and moving from worse to worse. That is what the Cameroon government have. If you look through the constitution of 1996, you discover that the regional council, it was there, it was mentioned since 1996, and then up to date, the government have given it on a piece of paper. And for 5 months, close to 5 months today, these people have been in an office without any resource, without any things in order to take up their work. And then looking through the constitution, we discover that in Article 55 of the 1996 constitution, it is stated there that the regional council, the regional authority, will have administrative and financial autonomy, meaning they have the power on that part, but the government has not given it unto them. And then we have testimony on social media or even on TVs where the director of a human resource in the Ministry of Decentralization, they talk about a government minister being reluctant to transfer power to the regional. So what happens in the Southwest region is obviously what all the other regions are passing through. And I am appreciating Chief Aten for what he did, because you cannot sit in an office, you are wasting time, wasting the resources, moving every day to an office without doing anything. He said he has been given an office well equipped, but no resources in order to start his job. He has been given a job to do, something to do, but he has not been given the opportunity to do it. How are you going? Because at the end of the 5 years term of office, he will be called upon, will be accused by the people, by his own people, that he has not done what he was there to do for them. And then he is there, nothing is happening, and all other regional councils, the councillor or executive are sitting quiet, because they are used to the system of the CBDN, and then that is what is killing the council. And I am looking up to that the president of the Southwest Regional Council that came up to warn his vice president for speaking out is a corrupt member, and those kind of people, we Cameroonians do not need them, because you cannot stand up for when you have been in an office as a leader for 5 years and reading through the constitution. You will know that it is your right to have the authority or power over these particular things, over resources, financial and administrative. And then you have to manage your economy, you have to manage the health system, you have to manage education. And then nothing has been given unto you. You remain quiet as a leader. And when your vice president maybe is bored of such circumstances, has not been used to such circumstances, you stand against him. That we Cameroonians, we Anglophone, have to look through and understand the operation of the system of the government of President Phobia, because it is using the rule and divide method. You come to a house, divide a brother against his own brother, and then we people start fighting within you people, and then they are using. In times to come, you will hear that in 5 months' time, billions were used by the regional. Yes, I am accusing and talking about him in that way, in the sense that that is the system we are used in. We are used to such system of the government that things will happen, they will come to there and say we have to do this, and then they will start and end. And then people are there as executive, turning around and enjoying with the system, and at the end. So that is what I am saying, that he has been there. You cannot be in an office for 5 months, doing nothing. You get up in the morning, go there. That is wasted of resources. Even yourself, you are wasted, because you are not doing anything to benefit the people who elected you into that office. So you stay quiet. What is the agreement? He has not come up to say this is the agreement I'm having with the government, that the resources, the power will be transferred to us on this particular date. That has not been done. But you just say keep quiet without giving any point forward. That is where I'm saying that it is an attitude, it is a corrupt attitude from him.
His decision to put some restrictions on communication concerning the functioning of the regional institutions in the Southwest region is now being interpreted as an attempt to hinder the president of the House of Chiefs of the Southwest region from further exposing what is qualified as the emptiness of the regional institutions, which parts of the spatial status in the Northwest and Southwest regions of the country. Is that as empty? Is it as empty as that?
It is empty. It is empty because there is nothing in that. Because first of all, when they talk about, when you look through the Constitution, reading through the regional council, you discover that it is not of any, because they say it is in Article 56. It's talking about transferring authority in some aspects. And then meaning the government will still be in control of a lot of things. And then if you as a regional councillor or a regional executive, and then you have to take a decision concerning, like for example, education, and then you have a regional educational, a regional delegate of education in that, you also have to receive the opinion, and from him you have to move up to the governor, from the governor to the minister of education, in which everything will boil down to Yaoundé. And that is what I'm saying. It is empty because, first of all, he is a member. If a chief attempt did not come up, many of us will believe that they are eating behind. And then there is nothing inside there. He says it's only an empty office and a well-equipped office that is having, and nothing is there for him to do what he was called upon to do. And that is clear because I'm not there. He is the one there, and you have seen the emptiness of that regional council. And he's coming up to tell us that that is how empty it is. So we should not be expecting that for 5 months that he has been there. What is happening that he has not come up with anything. So he said the house is empty, and it is really empty.
What you say now could be considered as being extremist in your analysis of the situation. Are the regional institutions really empty?
I said they are really empty because first thing, in looking through the regional council, you see into it that first, the election was not properly done because the two Anglophone regions were not taken into consideration, because we cannot stand and say who voted for them in an Anglophone regions. So those who went there under the agenda of the Cameroon government. And then the Cameroon government are manipulating them. I cannot say that they have something with them, that it is not empty, because I have not seen anything that they have done for the 5 months that they have been in office. So they have not done anything. And one of them, being a vice president, is coming up to say that the house is empty. So who am I to say the house is not empty?
Recent statement, you said that there are 2 aspects of the issues, the problems in the Northwest and Southwest regions of the country, and there is one aspect that this government cannot solve, the ideological part of the problems in the Northwest and Southwest regions of the country. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yes, I came up with a proposal talking about the 2 Anglophone problems. That the Anglophone problems is of 2 kinds. There is one kind of Anglophone problem that can be solved by the government of the Republic of Cameroon, and there is one that cannot be solved by the government of the Republic of Cameroon. And that cannot be solved by the government of President Paul Biya is the Anglophone problem that is already an ideology. I say that you cannot kill an ideology. President Paul Biya and the military of the Cameroon government that are using the taxpayer money in order to believe in that one day they will destroy all the Ambazonia fighters. I am saying that that is already an ideology. An ideology can only be destroyed by change of mentality, positive change of mentality. And those who can give that positive change of mentality to those guys who are there in the bushes, in killing and fighting for their freedom, they are the leaders of the Anglophone. The leaders of the Amazonia, they are the ones that can give that a change of mentality, that can change that ideology. So President Paul Biya should stop wasting the taxpayer money in solving that problem. And then I say that they cannot kill all the Amazonia fighters, because many are joining it out of anger, many are joining it out of revenge, many are joining it out of frustration, many are joining it out of anger. And all these things are coming together, and you are seeing that every day these guys are increasing and increasing in number. But that is what I'm telling the government of President Pobia. And then I say there is an Anglophone problem that they can solve, and that is the Anglophone problem that was created by Amadou Ahidjo in 19 days after the independence of Southern Cameroon. And then it concluded in 1972. And also President Pobia partook in it in 1984 by changing the name from United Republic of Cameroon to Republic of Cameroon. That is the problem President Pobia can solve by calling back the Fumba Constitutional Conference, where the Anglophone-speaking Cameroon, the Anglophone Cameroon, will go and sit and talk about it.
On the first aspect, are you saying that the reconstruction, all the work that is being done by the National Commission on the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, all the peace crusades organized here and there, and even in those two regions by top administrative officials, including the Prime Minister, Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute, and others, cannot change the mindsets of those who have already integrated that ideology of secessionism, that ideology of division. Are you saying that all these efforts cannot go a long way to change those mindsets?
It cannot. That all those activities cannot, because we are seeing a recent video coming up that they have spent, the Commission for Reconstruction of the North and the Southwest region has spent, I think it's 12 billion already. I don't know exact figures, but they have spent some billions already. And then if you ask everybody in these two Anglophone regions where the 12 billion has been spent, nobody will explain to you where the 12 billion has been spent. That is something, anything coming from the government. I say it in 2018, that anything coming from the government, nobody in an Anglophone region believes in it. And then I am telling them that those things are wasted of resources, wasted of money. Militaries are dying every day. Those are children. Those are people husbands. Those are people children. They are dying every day for things that you cannot solve. That all the things, whether you move from one place, if people don't believe in you, they can never trust you, and they cannot change their mentality because of you. So I'm telling them that these guys believe only in the leaders of the Amazonia, and they are the people that can change their mentality.
When you say that the people of the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon do not believe in anything coming from the Yaoundé administration, isn't that hyperbolic? Isn't that some sort of gross exaggeration? What exactly are you saying? Are you saying that the government has lost everything in those two regions, even its credibility?
Yes, I will say that with full confidence, because when you look at the Anglophone populations, there are some that believe in the government for their own personal interests. Those people we call in our locality elites of our locality, or strong businessmen, or people within the government, they can say they trust the government. But the common people out there, nobody. Because I spoke one time in Cameroon with one grandmother that is already of 80, and she spoke bitterly against the government. So you are seeing, when people are there, you see majority, some people will stand and say they're trusting the government, and it's because of what they are benefiting. Those we call the elite. But the common people of the Anglophone, the majority of Anglophone, nobody trusts the Anglophone, the Cameroon government. Because whatsoever they are coming, just look at the regional council, they have promised that they will give them this. For 5 months today, nothing has been given to them. Which one would they believe in this kind of situation where they could have been in very fast in fulfilling their promises? They have not done it. They have been doing this for several years, and people have lost trust in them. If they believe that, some people still trust in them, only the elite, those working with them, trust them.
Now, on the second aspect, you talked about reorganizing the Fumban Constitutional Conference. What exactly are you referring to when you called on the government of the Republic of Cameroon to do a reorganization of the Fumban Constitutional Conference?
Okay, when I talk about the government of the President Paul Biya reorganizing the Fumba Constitutional Conference, I am saying President Paul Biya has been the leader of Cameroon for 28 years, and he has done something to the Cameroonian people. And at the tail end now, things are going in a way that if he is not careful, he will not leave any legacy to the Cameroonian people. But I came up with it so that a President Paul Biya should reorganize the Fumba Constitutional Conference as a legacy in order to solve. When you look at the Anglophone crisis, the origin of the Anglophone crisis, it started with Amadou Ahidjo dissolving the federal system of government. If India can reorganize the Fumba Constitutional Conference so that the Anglophone population will go sit and look through the Bamenda Conference, the decisions that were taken during the Bamenda Conference, and then change and amend some issue there, and then the Francophone Cameroon look through whatsoever they will have, and then they comes together, they choose a neutral place. Maybe they will go back to Fumba, or I propose maybe they come to an Anglophone regions, because the first one was in the Francophone regions, and then they sit together and decide on the form of the government. It can be federation, it can be confederation, as Dr. Ningwanya is preaching, it can be decentralization, but the two parties should come together, agree and be certified. For they keep away politics, and truth should be speaking. It should be the order of the day in that conference. This will create a forum where many people will believe in and come up with something better to end the Anglophone crisis.
Right. What should be the format of this other meeting which you're proposing? The major national dialogue already took place. That brought on the same table everybody from across the board, from the 10 regions of the country. What should be the format of this other meeting? Should it be strictly like what happened in the Fumban decades ago, or who should be the attendants in that meeting? The secessionist leaders and the government, or everybody?
I would say everybody. The major national dialogue that took place in Yaoundé, I do not consider it, because it was an invitation. It was a party invited by the government of the Republic of Cameroon. He invited those he trusted, those he believed in. Because I was expecting to see people like Ayuk Tabe Seseko inside there, because those are the foundation and the pillar of the Amazonia. Those are the people with the original ideas of the separation. They were supposed to be there. So what I'm talking about, the Fumba Constitutional Conference, is for everybody to be there. Meaning the leaders of the separation of the Amazonia should be there. A trustworthy Cameroonian Anglophone should be there. And then everybody should come together and sit. Representatives, not the kind of representative we are having in the National Assembly, where they are just sitting and looking places, but trustworthy Cameroonians should sit to come together. But the leaders of the Amazonia, all of them, whether being abroad, being in prison, wherever they are, should come for the conference. They sit together and decide how the form of government will look like.
Yes, if you were to be part of that meeting, what would you suggest as far as the form of the state is concerned?
If I was to be part of the meeting, I would propose federation, because many countries like United States of America, Nigeria beside us, they are under federation, and then we are seeing their problem. Their problem is not because of the form of government. Their problem is a natural problem that has to happen in. But I propose federation because, yes, that is what started. That is the union that it was between the French Cameroon and the British Cameroon. And then they came together and formed a federal system of government. And if the problem today is because the federal system of government was a cancel or was destroyed, then let's go back to that federal system of government in order to see how things will stand up for better Cameroon.
Lapana Tasha Mamasi was society activist and writer joining us from Lanaka in the southern part of Cyprus. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babala.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today. Thanks.